Radio Free Skaro.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Radio Free Skaro, episode number 766. I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
Happy Halloween. Oh, it'll be Halloween by the time the next episode goes out, even though it's Saturday. Halloween's on.
Happy staying at home.
That's true. Well, apparently you can do Halloween safe, but you can't put... I don't understand. There's a big,
how do you do Zoom Halloween?
You don't. How about
yeah.
that? That's the scariest thing about Halloween is doing Zoom.
Zoom
is the horror movie.
I have hit a proper Zoom. I mean, we record this over Zoom, but it's what we do. It's what we've done.
Well, we did it before
week.
it was cool.
Yeah, I know. And we don't do video because
it's not really cool either. So
no.
That.
We don't do video because we don't need to see your new hair. Long hair.
Oh my! Yeah, I know. I think it's surpassed
Pandemlocks.
Pandemlock. I feel like it's surpassed the Peter Davison length in King's Demons, which I think is probably its longest length, maybe 5 Doctors. And it's a little bit further than that. So, yep, I'm going with it. Going with it. I'm just going with COVID hair.
Not me. I'd look like Ronald McDonald. There's no way I'm doing that.
Yeah. I bring up Warren. I mean, it looks like we're going to be inside for a while. Kettlewell. Just go full Kettlewell. It's in your power to do it.
It would end up looking like Sean Penn and Carlito's Way. Nobody wants that, least of all me.
Would it come that curly, though?
Probably.
Really?
Okay.
I'm basing this on high school, so who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while since you've had hair, by choice.
Not going to find out.
Yeah.
It's been decades since I've had hair.
Oh,
So
man. I just
I know. See, you act like I care. I don't. I don't really care at all.
I guess not. Just like this is the time to so let's just change things up. Just wear something different. Like I have no ability to grow a beard, so I can't grow a beard. So I'm not growing a COVID beard because I can't grow one. So I thought the only thing I have the power to control about my personal appearance is hair length. And so that's what I'm doing. Just for fun.
At least the hair length that people would see, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Anyway, hair.
Long, beautiful hair.
Long,
shining,
beautiful hair.
Sleeping, waxing, flaxing.
Boy, who did that? That's Hair, the musical.
Yes.
Gross.
Who wrote that? That was that's an American.
I don't know.
It's
but
not
I've
Andrew
seen
Lloyd Webber.
I've seen the Treat Williams film.
Pretty sure it wasn't Andrew.
Treat
Many
Williams.
times.
Many times.
I thought, didn't Warren Beatty, wasn't he in that movie? Hair, or am I
no.
thinking of Hair Shampoo?
No, you're thinking of Shampoo. That's what he's in.
Shampoo. Which
Which is a biography, or sort of John Peters, I believe, the somewhat dodgy producer.
Ah, yes. Well, it's the 1970s, so they're all dodgy producers back then. But anyway, Halloween, stay indoors. I think it's probably best to do that. Maybe we should just make a PSA every single week. Stay away from each other, wear a mask, and wash your hands. There we go. Because we're in this for the long haul now. I remember my sunny optimism back in March thinking, hey, maybe this will be a time where society takes a step back and sort of recalculates what we're going to do. Not at all. Amazon is even richer and everyone else is even poorer. So,
And people are
dumb.
even
5G.
dumber.
Yeah.
Give me the COVID.
5G. Speaking of which, back when we did Classic Series commentaries a few weeks ago, the Creature from the Pit was the story code of which is 5G.
Well, Creature from the Pit probably could give you COVID, so...
Well, we're going to find out because one day we'll do a commentary for that. I'm looking forward to that. Here's the thing about the lockdown and everything else is that there are things that normally I wouldn't look forward to as much as I do now. And one of them, even though we don't even know when it's coming out, it might come out January or something, but we have the next Classic Series commentary we do is Creature from the Pit. And I'm like, let's find a time in November to do this because I got nothing else on the go and I want to watch Creature from the Pit. I'm also thinking like, because there was Chicago TARDIS usually, and so we'd go to Chicago TARDIS, and then after we came back, I think, okay, now I think I'm ready to put up Christmas decorations. And like right now, I'm thinking, let's count down the days. Like I'm thinking maybe November 1st. Let's just have something to look forward to and do Christmas decorations.
It's like some of the feedback we got when you tweeted out about collecting Fluid Links submissions for Advent, and
That's
it's
right.
not even Halloween yet.
It's not even Halloween yet. But listen, here's the thing. I mean, I bought my Lego Advent calendar in late August because they were already on the shelves at a Costco.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, late August, folks. Time is an illusion
madness.
in 2020.
Lunchtime doubly so?
Mm-hmm.
Lunchtime doubly. So on this podcast today is our commentary. Our Series 12 commentary continues with Amanda Ray Prescott. She joins us for Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, episode 4 of Series 12. So stay tuned for that. My Faceless Ones DVD. It actually arrived. Chris, yours is like on its way.
Mine is on its way as we record this. Somebody is
yeah.
going to be knocking at my door at some point in time today, presumably.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. I mean, because for the longest, literally up until it arrived, the Amazon page here in Canada had like just temporary box art. And I have to say, I was like, I'm really skeptical that this is actually going to arrive.
Does it have actual art now?
It has actual art now, yeah.
I haven't seen this because my order and whatnot still shows. No, it still says artwork TBC.
Yep. Well, no, it has the actual proper painting on it and stuff. So
it's the version you got in the mail. Okay,
Yeah.
I got you. Sorry, I thought you meant that on Amazon it had.
No.
It still has the.
No.
Yeah.
No, it arrived. It has like the color. This is old news for you in the UK, but bear with us. It's got like the color and black and white animated version. But I have to say, I'm just as excited to get a proper Telesnap Recon because it's also on the disc. So yeah, so I was pretty impressed by that. Also, I think this is a first. There's the making of the animation of it documentary. Is directed by one Toby Haydock. I don't think he's directed an actual feature, or certainly an extended feature like this before. So well done, Toby, on directing that. It's all about how they draw things and make it, and it's very fascinating and interesting. So yeah, that's all I've watched so far. So basically, disc 3, I've watched that and the surviving stock footage that exists from it and stuff and other things. But I'll be diving into the animated.
It seems kind of weird to have. This completely missing 60s Doctor Who story, and you're talking about disc 3 of it,
right?
Like,
I know it's a 3-disc.
Only in Doctor Who land.
I know. I mean, well, just to give you,
because I'm sure one disc is color, one disc is black and white,
one disc exactly, but then
one is special stuff, which I think Power was the same way, wasn't it?
I believe so. Actually, yeah, 3-disc release. The Series 12 Blu-ray set is 3 discs. I mean, what the hell, that's the weird thing about it. Of course you can fit more on a Blu-ray, but still, it just like cram some VAM onto that, cram some VAM. I mentioned Halloween. This Halloween, this is Saturday, as you know. Why don't you stay in and do another Doctor Who tweet along? Because Emily Cook, who did all the other major ones early this year, sometime in the past, is doing another one for Halloween. It's Blink, the scariest episode of Doctor Who ever made. Doing a live tweet along at noon British time. So tune in for that. Have they set their clocks back yet? This is the time of year where everything goes a little bit crazy.
So we're recording this on a Saturday, so tonight is when the UK changes their clocks back.
That's
and
right.
Then we do it next week, Halloween night or November 1st morning.
Really? It's only 1 week? One teeny weeny week. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's different because it's like 3 weeks or whatever in the spring, and it's like only the week now.
Oh, my God. So basically, here's the deal, folks. We're coming up towards the U.S. election, and we have to spend another hour waiting for it. Oh, my God. That's just...
It seems unfair.
That's criminal. Oh. Well, so it's only 6 hours ahead then, basically, from us for this Blink tweet along on Saturday. So
yes,
so that'll be cool.
Yes.
So to check it out and press play and do all that sort of thing for the probably the final one. Maybe there'll be one at Christmas. There probably will be. I bet you there probably
lots of choices for Christmas
because what else are we going to do at Christmas? Yeah. So Billie Piper, who was in Doctor Who, as you might remember, played Rose.
What?
Several seasons of Doctor Who. She appeared on I think it's the last regular episode of season 2 of David Tennant does a podcast with, because the following week is basically all the outtakes from the previous interviews. The Radio Times managed to clip show. The Radio Times managed to get, I think, 17 different articles out of that one conversation.
Well, then they're slacking off. Come on.
It's a little bit like, come on, guys, you crammed 2 nuggets of information in there that we already kind of knew. There's a lot of like internet buzz about. I mean, it's a fun conversation. You know, it's 10 and Rose together on a podcast. I will say, not once do they appear in character during the podcast. So gear down, everyone.
The whole Radio Times thing is kind of like when you look for a recipe online, and half of it is a story about how the author and her husband went for a walk in the woods and their dog is so cute. And then finally, by about page 16, you get to the spaghetti.
Here's your ingredients.
That's what the Radio Times is.
Yeah, pretty much. I know. I made hummus again yesterday as we record this, and I was like, okay, scroll. Thank you, white person telling me about the history
every
of
one
hummus.
of those people is a Karen.
Yeah, so but it's good. It's a good chat. It's a fun chat, you know, because it's just nice to hear those two together again. I'm quite intrigued by David Tennant's new career as an interviewer in a way. He's made this lockdown work for him. I think him and Michael Sheen are doing a second series of Staged. Coming up as well, so that was announced relatively recently too. So, yeah,
I'm glad you didn't say his second career as a podcaster, because I'd be like, okay,
yeah, well, he has,
but he's got a big enough name he actually might make money at it.
That's true, yeah,
because
he could.
I know. I mean, hell,
Joe Rogan does.
Hell, they bought David.
Please don't
Tennant
say that name around me.
David Tennant bought time on this podcast, for crying out loud. So you know they're throwing that kind of money around if they're like coming.
They paid for us to do a promo. Sure,
big bucks. Big bucks to us. We sold out for David Tennant.
$8 of it.
We sell out for David Tennant and the BBC, and that's it.
We'll never sell out for Joe Rogan, though. I'd like to point that out.
Well, no, thank you very much.
Anybody who tells me you gotta listen to Joe Rogan probably is somebody I don't want to talk to.
Yes. I was talking about David Tennant. Why'd you have to bring Joe Rogan into
but
this?
Chris mentioned Joe Rogan.
I brought up Joe Rogan.
No, well, don't. So that's anyway. And Neil Gaiman's on a previous episode as well. It's It's a good run. We're not being paid to show for this time. I'm just saying that it's a good podcast.
The Piper one was okay. The Neil Gaiman one was quite good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one too. So Wendy Craig, who I imagine for people of a certain age in the United Kingdom, the name means a lot more than perhaps someone who has grown up watching only 2 shows, that being Doctor Who and other Doctor Who. But she is playing Queen Elizabeth I in the Volume 5 of the First Doctor Adventures, which comes out in April. Of course, the First Doctor Adventures featuring David Bradley and all the TV movie cast. You know the one I'm talking about. That's coming out in April. I can't believe they've done 5 already. I remember it took a while for them to do 2, and then now they're on to 5. Which is pretty cool. So yeah, it's coming out featuring Wendy Craig as Queen Elizabeth I, because
I would like to point out that KSPS used to show Butterflies over and over and over again, so that's how I'm familiar with her. I don't know if other PBSs did the same thing, but it was a staple of Spokane PBS.
I don't know if I remember that one, or maybe
my parents loved the show. That's why.
Okay, yeah. My parents didn't watch it. They never really watched any PBS. It was me watching it for Doctor Who, of course. So, unless I would just sort of stumbling upon, is Doctor Who on now? Because I can't read a TV guide. Is Doctor Who on now? No, it's not.
We were snooty PBS folk in a sea of prairie, podunk, hickory, dickory.
Very much.
There you go. Kind of know where that went with that. No, we're good.
Anyway, it's coming, the full cast audio set, Volume 5 is coming April 2021 from Big Finish. In other audio news, so The Wintertime Paradox, that 12 Festive Tales of Tinsel and Time Lords, the book by Dave Rudden, was released on October 15th. Well, now there is an audio version as well as read by Sophie Aldred, Ace from TV's Doctor Who. Yep, so that you can buy that as well. So the audio version of it. She does great audiobook readings if you haven't heard it before. So give that a shot. The links, of course, are in the show notes at radiofreeskaro.com. Further audio news. There was a panel on Instagram, an Instagram panel, an Instagram.
That seems inconvenient to watch.
Instagram kind of is because at some point, can you just like make a desktop client or something? For,
yes, please.
So many times I've like, oh, I want to post that to. I gotta send this thing from the thing to the whatever.
And you can't share it. It's a pain in the ass. Or maybe anybody younger than me, i.e., most people, would probably know how to do this, but I have no clue. So.
Yeah, I don't know how to. I don't know. I'm a bad Instagrammer. I basically, because we're going to continue to disparage Instagram before telling you what to go watch on Instagram. But there's no like basic timeline. It's just like what am I going to find out here? Oh, there's 3 posts from the same person and an ad, and that's my Instagram.
I will
experience.
give Instagram this to my very shocked surprise. Just on a whim, I shot a picture of myself pretending I was doing a vlog and then exploding my own head.
That's good.
To learn how to do it, basically. But people loved it on Instagram. So thank you, Instagram, for your undying love of my head exploding. Stay tuned for more nonsense as I delve further into YouTube tutorials told me by 14-year-olds about how to make things look weird on the internet.
Remember to like and subscribe and click that bell so you get notified.
Yeah. Smash that like button. Anyway, Sagan Akinola was on a composing for film and TV panel with Aisling Brouwer and Afrodeutsch. It's like an hour-long thing. We haven't watched it yet, but there he is talking about composing for, because he's a Doctor Who composer and stuff. So I'm intrigued by that. I'm going to check that out later because I know he was on a previous panel towards the beginning of the lockdown talking about like just the challenges of recording like an orchestra or something like that because you can't be close together, so even composing music in this day and age is a different task.
Interesting thing about that, and it's not quite the same, but for years now Hollywood, unless it's a big deal movie like say Star Wars or something, they've been doing a lot of stuff where they hire like a Eastern European orchestra and they just remotely conduct it. So maybe it's feasible they'll keep doing that kind of stuff, except more expanded outward.
Why an Eastern European one?
Because it's cheaper. Honestly, they're just as good and they're cheaper. Like there's tons of really good orchestras in the former Soviet states. And,
I see.
They all work for a whole lot less money.
I see. So they're just you're not talking about COVID though or anything like that.
No. I'm just saying with COVID, they've already got this infrastructure in place, kind of all except they would have all the orchestra in one place. But now they could maybe separate a bit more. It's a workaroundable thing, I think.
That sounds actually kind of bad for musicians.
No, it's not ideal at all. But I can see it happening.
Yeah, I suppose. Mind you, you're in Vancouver, which has like been Hollywood North for how many years now? So
Hollywood North, which means stumbling across stuff, being irritated by it.
The sweatshop of Hollywood. Anyway, it links to the show.
As opposed to Hollywood, which is also the sweatshop of Hollywood.
That's true. I know. They're outsourcing their own sweatshops now. Anyway, the links to the Sagan Akinola thing also in the show notes, everyone. And finally, in business news tonight, BBC Studios has signed a multi-year, quote-unquote, deal, co-production and content sales deal with Chinese entertainment platform Bilibili, which aims to bring UK content to China and Chinese programming to the world. So, of these, of course, are included, it's Doctor Who. So, once again, international multi-year streaming contracts and partnerships are what is keeping Doctor Who going. Doctor Who will never be canceled so long as there is a contract to fulfill. And so I feel like they signed like a 5-year deal with them, like China. I can't remember which.
A few years ago.
And now this is a specific
I have
Chinese
one question.
Platform. So, yes, what's your question, Warren?
Will they advertise this by going, Billy, 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 Billy? No, maybe not.
They won't do that. No, you're trying to...
Well, to tie it in with Blink, they're just going to advertise it with Billy Shipton.
Or Billy Piper.
Wow.
Billy Piper.
Okay, I was getting weird, but Chris got even weirder.
I think Billy Piper is probably the one that I'm thinking of.
She'd be more recognizable.
Yeah. So there you go. Doctor Who headed to China for the next few years. So exciting, I guess. We're not in China. We can't really tell. But
no.
But as I said, anytime Doctor Who is signed to go elsewhere in the world, it's a good thing for the show. So hooray for that.
Hooray.
All right. That's it. That's our chatter this time around. But there's more chatter ahead in the form of a commentary for Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror with guest Amanda Ray Prescott after this. Yes, welcome back. It's a commentary for Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, a Doctor Who episode set in New York in the year 1903. So there's lots of like period costumes and stuff, and New York. And I just have to wonder, Amanda Ray Prescott, guest on this episode, how long have you been submitting this episode idea to the Doctor Who drama department? Because this seems like it's tailor-made for you.
I am not sure, because I wasn't picturing them focus on the Tesla and Edison wars, especially since the current war with Benedict Cumberbatch came out not too long after this. So I wanted them to do another New York set episode with far fewer historical errors than the last time around. So yeah, I got my wishes granted for the most part. There's still some errors here and there, but I'll point them out.
Oh, I look forward to it. All right. Historical pedantism. This is what we are here for. Excellent. All right. Well, you've got your episode in front of you. You've got the legally purchased Blu-rays at home, ready to go for this magical, wondrous event of Doctor Who in New York, but really Bulgaria. Here we go then, everyone. Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror in 3, 2, 1, play.
What a great title, by the way.
It's a fun title. It is a fun title.
It's like, here comes the cheese. That's what I say.
Yeah, like it's like a romp is about to. Imagine if it was like a really dark episode and they said, you know what? No.
Well, it is a romp, but it's not that much of a romp.
No, it's not a throwaway romp. It's a fun romp, I think, anyway. But I'll direct it. Nita Manzoor, who directed episodes 4 and 5. This is one of the rare instances where a woman has both written and directed an episode of Doctor Who. There we go. This is it. That's our one image of Canada. The first time ever in Doctor Who history that Canada has been seen on screen as Canada. I needed to wait until that moment to point it out. It's over now, though, so you can talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, they hit the peak right at the start.
And there we start with Nikola Tesla. He's explaining to, hopefully, people to invest in his empire of science. And, of course, he has the massive waterfalls as backdrop for, bonus, I'm important.
And an impressive green screen shot, it has to be said. I mean,
I have to say, yeah, it's pretty
that is a pretty good green screen shot.
Like the wind.
I'm a real sucker for the, I'd never wear one, but I'm a real sucker for the watch chain.
Yeah.
If you do that now, especially at my age, you're very pretentious. But at the time, it looked really good.
Well, at the time, you would wear like a wallet chain as well. But so
I was going to say that to sign a guy my age has not grown up, but I wear Chuck Taylors and T-shirts. So who the hell am I to talk?
And of course, he has a crowd here looking very impressive. Pretty decent replica of Edwardian costume for everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to say so. Where did your love of costumes occur? And is this one of the eras that you appreciate when it comes to such?
I appreciate Edwardian. I don't sew it. Well, actually, I only have one Edwardian costume in my collection so far. It's just I actually recreated something from the BBC War of the Worlds that unceremoniously got dumped on AMC Premiere, and they're charging an extra $20 a month for you to watch it. Yeah, but actually Yasmin wears a similar outfit to what I've made, so you'll see that in a bit.
Oh, very nice.
Since the fam aren't here yet, you just see some people getting all snide about. Nope, you're in a pipe dream.
Yeah.
No, sorry, you sound too crazy. Wardenclyffe. Yeah, this is out on Long Island, which is closest to where I am right now.
I was going to say.
Was the top hat still a thing in the 1903? I guess it was.
Yeah, that's still a thing, period. Definitely. You don't see the top hats sort of decline after the 20s. And so they're kind of left there until the 20s. Then it's mostly a formal wear item. But like in 1903, they're going to probably be wearing them every day. Just, to the office, to
the baseball park. Every time I watch old baseball clips and everyone's wearing a fedora and stuff.
It seems weirdly
when they're dressed in the suit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had to go in the subway, that'd be really inconvenient.
Yeah.
On a top. Of course, if you got a top hat, you're probably not in the subway in the first place. So
True. I mean, although there were, somebody who was in the working class would probably have it as like their Sunday best outfit, or for funerals.
true.
Or
Yes.
formal
Good
events.
point.
Oh, sorry. There's one more shot. There's Canada once again, right there. We just saw
Yeah,
it.
1 second.
At night. Nighttime occurs in Canada too.
Wow, we're so unique.
Yeah.
The first time I saw this episode, Mrs. Scarrett, I kind of had a huge joke to myself because that's one of Victoria's servants in Jenna Coleman's Victoria, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, that's of course the first thing I think of her name. I'm like, I'm like Mrs. Scarrett. She was awesome in that character too.
Although in truth, she is named after Tom Skerritt, who of course starred in Alien. That's a lie. That's a bloody lie. But
I don't think that's true at all.
every character in this is named after an actor who appeared in Alien. So there's like,
Sure.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm waiting for somebody called Yefet Kodo.
Yeah.
How they're going to shoehorn that one in, I have no idea.
Somebody is hurt in this episode at some point,
Or what's his name? The guy who just died at age
Ian
9.
Holm, yeah.
Sam Waterston?
Ian Holm.
No, not Ian Holm.
To make the
Actually,
clothes,
yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
to make the clothes, they employed a weaver, perhaps.
Oh, there we go.
No, terrible. But better than mine, so fair enough.
And of course, they're now trying to figure out, oh, something's not right. It's going to blow up and explode in our faces.
It's such a good. I love Gore. I never watched ER, so I don't know anything about Goran Visnich apart from this, and I
didn't know he was in ER.
Yeah, he was great in Timeless.
Yeah, Timeless actually one of the ones I didn't see because I thought it was too hardcore sci-fi.
The biggest problem with Timeless is being an American show. All the historical events they went to were all American based, which kind of felt a little bit of a conceit.
True, and then I saw one attempt. I saw their one attempt at 18th century, and I'm like, this looks like kind of iffy Outlander cosplay, and I'm like, I'm doing that.
The fan.
There's the
Okay,
fam.
There we go.
There's the fam.
And there's a nice variety of hats.
I know. I do love when Doctor Who introduces the characters, the main cast, when the guest cast see them for the first time. I think it's a great little way of introducing them into the story.
Yeah, also too, Graham name drop in Orient Express is also that did not happen. That's a little bit of a paradox.
But that's Graham. That's Graham just thinking we're back in the past, and if it happens in the past, it all happens at the same time.
Yeah,
right?
I was like, you're about 30 years early on that reference.
Just broken a law of time.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yup, he did.
But what other famous train would Graham know about? What famous train do I know about? Yeah.
The Great Train Robbery? That's probably about it.
True.
Which is the 60s, so that's even worse.
Yeah.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
The television drama of which was written by Chris Chibnall, actually, in 2013.
That's true. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, the ties.
Oh, no. Alien invasion in the middle of the train. No. Usually when I'm on the subway, pre-COVID, it's the most you're running to the next car just because there's some crazy person shouting about Jesus. This alien a little bit different.
You almost made me miss the New York subway.
I know, just for a second.
That instead, clear the closing doors, please.
Yeah.
I hear that in movies and I'm like, oh, I'm nostalgic all of a sudden.
Yep.
That person drops in like Jodie Whittaker dropped into a train in her very first episode. Obviously a parallel, not a parallel.
Yeah. And of course Tesla is freaked out. How do you know everything? How do you know all these things?
I gotta admit, I've never had the guts to go in that little sort of door thing to the next train. I'm like, I'll just stay here.
Are you able to? I mean, you're walking
on New York trains. I think so. You can't on ours. The SkyTrain, I know you can't.
Nor in Edmonton. I'm assuming not in London on the tube either, but
I don't think so.
No.
Actually, you don't have to on our SkyTrains because they're just connected by a sort of connector thing anyway. You just walk right through.
Well, listen, I sometimes run between train cars and Red Dead Redemption, and even that is whoa, I'm going to fall off this train.
I not only can, but have numerous times.
It's dangerous. Especially jumping onto trains from a horse, very dangerous. Don't try that at home. Don't even try it in video games, kids. It's tricky stuff.
Yeah. And of course, we always have the obligatory period Doctor Who scene where they're questioning the Doctor's authority. So, that's always happens. It's like,
this is tradition. I'm glad they didn't bring out like the, psychic paper, which I think has sometimes become a bit of a crutch as much as the sonic screwdriver has been,
I mean, the nice thing is that they'll have the Doctor go, oh, and look at it and go, oh, yeah, sure. Like, just agree with it. But yes.
Yeah. Everyone's hat game is very strong. I will have to say.
Oh, very strong. Yeah. These are fine hats.
This aired like... Sorry, go ahead, Amanda.
And of course, I have to also point out, too, that for once, all three companions are perfectly even in a Derivorian style. I love it. Because I hate when you go some of the period episodes, they're just wearing their modern clothes. I'm like, no, immerse yourself in the period.
I know. This was one of my complaints about last season. They had period episodes, and they were just wearing their normal 21st century clothes.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, guys.
Yeah. So this is here we go. We're in Bulgaria now.
Bulgaria, New York. Okay, yeah. Gilded Age, New York. So it's like, yeah, they basically took the Amtrak overnight. Okay, that's, yeah.
Right.
Well, that's within reason, though.
Yeah, this is at New Boyana Film Studios in Sofia, Bulgaria, which has a whole bunch of like standing sets for like old time in New York and Roman city. I'm looking at their website. Greek village, Middle Eastern, America. They have a standing set for a gulag camp, just in case you want to.
This isn't where they shot. Whatchamacallit? Is it
Dr. Mysterio?
Yep, they did. Same place.
Yeah.
They filmed many things here. Many things.
Also, I'd like to point out that train that they were in, even though it was kind of a bit of a dump, was still nicer than the New Jersey Transit present day. That train is very disappointing.
I do question the likelihood of demonstrations like this, like how many people know AC versus DC and whatnot. It seems a little much for the commoner.
I agree, but every time I do question it, it turns out to be true. So I'm going to Google it right now.
The history of electrical protest
here, though, is the whole anti-immigration thing, because like part is legit. This is again the days of Ellis Island. So of course they're gonna be distrustful of the Eastern European immigrant who knows a lot more than they do. That's gonna be automatic. Mm-hmm. But it's weird though. So far they're kind of pretty much saying nothing about Yaz and Ryan, which is a little odd to me.
Good point.
I think by this point in his life, Tesla had already gotten his U.S. citizenship.
He does say that earlier in this. He says, "I'm an American citizen. You're violating my property."
Yeah.
People
listen, Tesla. We Irish are very angry with you.
Yeah, there's a lot of, but people missing those Ellis Island like glory stories is that they kind of treated the new arrivals not that much better than other. Italian, Irish, kind of screwed. And anybody from Eastern Europe too. It's like they kind of forget that they were kind of an inch away from blackness in any given moment whenever they felt like it.
And let's not forget the indigenous population that was displaced in the first place. So there's that too.
I'm reading somewhere that Dracula is basically kind of a British warning against the Eastern European influence. I don't know if that's true or not.
I've heard that.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Too, but horror literature is not a lane I normally go into. So
yeah.
Racist allegories.
Like how she's like, no, I'm just wearing whatever.
Yeah.
Tux is
I do
no.
wish that Jodie would wear, some period outfits too. Join in the fun. Come on.
Well, which doctors have? The first, Capaldi?
First, and Capaldi and Tennant. No, not even Tennant, really.
Tom Baker, I guess. Tom
Baker did in Talons. Yeah. And that's it. That's it.
I think that's it, yeah.
What a shame.
Because I'm like, Jodie could have totally rocked one of those like biking shirts they wore in this era. It's something similar to what Yaz has on right now. I'm like, that could have totally been cool for 13.
Kind of like what Leela wears in Talons of Wang Chiang, actually, to bring that.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Not like a ball gown kind of thing, but like or a dress or something. But something a little more active.
Yeah,
that might be stretching. I mean, the fact that she wears black tie for most of Spyfall.
Yeah.
It could mean that they're sort of leaning into it a little bit more. I mean, once you establish the the silhouette and the costume as sort of being the regular thing. Then you can sort of start playing around with it. And I hope that's what they do.
I hope so too.
I suppose actually Matt Smith's doctor, although Matt Smith's doctor sort of dressed in sort of, timeless kind of stuff anyway. Yeah. So like in the Snowman,
his purple outfit's close, but he wears it everywhere.
Yeah.
So.
The Snowman was kind of a
period. Crimson Horror to a
Crimson Horror as well. Yeah. But when you wear that bow tie,
I gotta say, I think Ryan's hat game is the best, but it's a very strong contest.
It's a very strong contest, but I think I might have to go give it to Ryan because he pulls off the look without looking too much like a Newsies extra. Because that
you just put into words what I was thinking, but I didn't have it quite that accurate.
Well, it is the same era, so yeah, that's kind of the era they're going for. So
right,
you're the slight oval.
I'm amazed how formative that film was for people because I was too old for it and I just kind of came and went. And 20 years later, I find out that everybody of a certain age loves that movie.
I feel like I was slightly too young to watch the actual film when it came out, but I saw the Broadway revival, so that was close enough.
And it was a musical, Warren. Let's not forget that. But
yeah.
I know. Well, that's probably why.
Exactly. I love this scene, by the way. They bond over basically this out of place. Being the nerdy kids in class, essentially. I love that look. Yeah. It's such a great performance. I'm keen to see what else he's done now. Although I won't watch ER because there's a lot of it, but
ER is a lot.
You can watch ER for him and Alex Kingston.
That's right, she's in that. George Clooney, of course. You can always watch George.
I discovered today she's in the Gilmore Girls miniseries. Alex Kingston.
She is
as a British actress who's drunk.
Yep. We can't hear it, but Niscaret is a British actress doing an American accent. I think. I always thought that British actors were good at doing American accents. And to be fair, they are. But I do think that they often sound kind of generic. Like they lose the regionality that exists in
honestly,
American
though,
accents.
In this instance, because the Daleks in Manhattan Two-Parter was so bad with those over-the-top New York accents, I'm kind of...
Oh, those are very bad.
Yeah, they toned that down. I'm like, thank God, please.
Yeah, that episode. I haven't thought about that in a while.
I have because I had to watch it as part of my tenant.
According to Wikipedia, Hayley McGee, who plays Scarrett, is Canadian.
That's right. I did look that up. Maybe it's just I'm just not used to it. Maybe I'm not used to hearing American accents in British shows like Doctor Who. Maybe that's it. Oh, I feel bad now.
I've been told that stuff that films up here, it's very obvious who's Canadian.
Yeah.
To Americans, not to us. We just kind of bleep it over, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like what would a Long Island accent in 1903 be? I mean,
that's interesting because that's actually a good question.
Yeah,
because people would assume it was just the like standard.
Would it be like the one now? Because it's pretty distinctive now. I mean,
it is distinctive now. But then again, it was before. This is before that mass movement to the suburbs.
Right. Yeah.
Because
good point.
Yeah, at this point in Long Island history, it's like, okay, a couple people live like close to Queens, and then it's like all the rich folks in the houses and farms.
Yeah.
It's really not until like the 30s on where Long Island really develops its own distinct culture, and of course accelerates with white flight.
I was gonna say, I think you mean white flight.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop that because that's what happened.
That is accurate. So yeah.
History. Which is why the only weird thing about this episode, like people are not really throwing Ryan and Yaz. It's kind of odd. I guess they're too busy focusing on Tesla. It's just, I would expect more of that. Ryan's like, oh, I heard of Edison.
Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, we know that. We know him. We feel.
It's kind of hard not to.
I know that guy.
Oh wait, but he's.
Hey, look, we're in a microbrewery.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's a big douche though, which is interesting because usually Edison gets like propped up as a hero. So.
That's what I like this. I like that, he's kind of awful, but he isn't like the villain of the piece. But there's sort of a metaphor in the alien race being the ones that sort of like steal from all the great inventors to sort of, further themselves. But I do like that he's still like a curious scientist still. He has obviously got dollar signs in his eyes though when it comes to it.
Yeah.
So he's kind of redeemed.
I don't remember
but-
how they solved the problem of him seeing the TARDIS, because you'd think he'd steal everything he could get his hands on.
Well, that's another thing with the mind wiping in Spyfall, and then never again in the rest of the stories of the series. I mean, I would totally be wiping Edison. How wouldn't you not be wiping Edison's mind after this?
Yeah. But of course, they kind of make him a little bit like the stereotypical Gilded Age villain to an extent. Of course,
Yeah.
but, I mean, it is that era. You're going to want to play with that because this is like the era of the Vanderbilts and that whole and boss tweets to an extent. Although you don't really see that.
You're kind of spoiled for choice with these guys.
Yeah, there's a lot, and the Carnegies and all that. This
Sad Tesla. That if that isn't a GIF and a meme, I'm surprised.
yeah, Nikola Tesla.
I keep expecting her to talk like Missy with this outfit.
Yeah,
A little bit.
Yeah, the only difference though is that Missy's jacket is not cut in the same way.
No, not
Very.
have any clue what I'm talking about, but
yeah, it's more flat in the front. And there's probably way more ruffles in the back or pleating.
It does have a sort of a more simpler design.
well, this doesn't scream malevolence, so there's
Yeah,
True.
I'm wondering if they maybe they just thought this looks nice for you, but I wonder if like Missy's costume was a conscious thing to avoid.
that. Oh, maybe,
You
yeah.
know, because I mean, Yaz was flirting with the Master in Spyfall, so like to go from flirting with who became the Master to be dressing as Missy. I mean, obviously it would be a sign that Yaz is being slowly taken over by the Master.
I think at one point people had that conspiracy theory, and then we realized not what was going on.
I'm all about coming up with ridiculous conspiracy theories and references, of course. Everything is a reference to something else.
Well, you've got your work cut out for you in this year of our Lord, September 2020.
Yeah. And of course, we have our scientist people arguing.
Well, of course, because that's science is all about, arguing. And
Yeah. Oh no,
That's exactly what it's all about.
Yeah.
And there you getting yelled at.
I think that bulletin board there looks like the TARDIS windows in a way, but
It kind of does. Oh wait, we found a black eye, a single black eye.
there he is.
There he is.
I believe that's George Washington Carver.
Possibly. He
I
might
doubt
also. I wish I did a little bit more reading. He might represent somebody who actually existed around this era too.
Yeah, I
But of
wonder-
course, now we're back to aliens.
Yeah.
we have to deal. It is a Doctor Who episode. Sometimes we have to bring in aliens, which is a shame. Sometimes you just want to hang out in 1903, you know, and
Exactly.
we're missing Robert Glenister here too, ex of Doctor Who from 1984, of Hustle, of
You know, it might actually be a George Washington Carver reference.
Yeah.
I did not mean to do this. Carver did repeatedly make the claim that Edison had once offered him a position at the West Orange Laboratory. So maybe that's
Wow.
what that guy is there for. So like a little George Washington Carver cameo.
Yeah, and also there was another black inventor who was critical in coming up with the filament. So yeah, there's definitely
That's probably the more likely explanation.
Yeah, either or could work. It's just interesting that when Doctor Who actually uses their conspiracy and throws in something that can actually pass as real history. I love when it happens.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I might be giving them way more credit. They might just
True.
have a big call for actors.
So true. Oh crap! Everybody's.
Well, he
passed out.
might be dead now, sadly.
Or
So
dead, no.
let's hope that wasn't him, or that he finished his research
know,
before he
let's hope.
died.
This looks like John Hurt. No,
See, there you go,
Not the
Alien.
War Doctor?
I told you, Alien. I told you. You're
right. Good
characters are either named after actors in Alien or look like actors in Alien. So that's the
Well,
thing.
Glenister here looks a little like Ian Holmes, so you got
There it is, right there.
Your tenuous stretch of a nonsensical claim is
This is how they start, Warren. This is how
Still pretty
conspiracy theories start. Start off with some nonsense, and by the end of the episode, you're going, I cannot believe that Sigourney Weaver had a walk-on. At the end of it, we didn't even notice.
because it never happened.
Never happened. Those jars remind me of the jars in the brains of Morphus or whatever they are, and the keys of Marinus. That's obviously a reference.
Keys of Morbius,
Obviously,
my favorite last episode.
obviously a reference to the keys of Marinus. Those glass cylinders.
Oh, absolutely not.
Now we're messing with electricity again. 'cause
Yeah, can't have a Tesla episode without electricity.
This looks stupendously dangerous.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot of what happened back then.
Yeah.
What ocean?
Yeah. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares?
How else are you going to find it until you experiment with it? Right, Madame Curie? This is how you do it.
Yeah.
Ignore that green glow.
Yeah.
Yes is like, I don't trust this. This might explode.
I can't say I blame her.
I'm wondering.
That's some good dialage, though.
You know, for the second year in a row, Doctor Who compelled me to watch a documentary about an upcoming episode. So I watched a documentary, the PBS one, about Tesla, leading into this because I was curious. I'm thinking, when's the last time I've done that with regards to Doctor Who as an educational property?
Not no.
So you're going to have to watch, if they ever have a Civil War story, you're going to have to watch all of Ken Burns' Civil War.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's like 10 hours. Good luck.
Yep. And I got to tell you, it's good, but it's put me to sleep a number of times. There's only so much Dear Constance you could take before you're like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah. I will say, I will venture to say they'll probably never do a Civil War episode because that's just way too dead.
Yeah, it's a little fraught. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna probably dance around that. I mean, look how long it took them to even do Rosa. Like that was.
I'm fine with them dancing around it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like the less you guys can screw up, the better, please.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's a curious thing when British shows do stories set in another country's past because you run a risk of like screwing it up, but you also have a fresh perspective. You know, I've often lamented that I'm a documentary watcher. I'm not much of a reader, and I have never seen a proper documentary on the American Revolution or the War for American Independence because everyone in America just assumes you know about it,
just knows it,
and so there's no good entry point for me. And so if Doctor Who or somewhere did or the BBC did a documentary on it, I feel like yes, this is something that I've been waiting literally my entire life to learn about, but I've never been allowed in.
Some nice CG.
This is creepy. Yeah.
Also, you should watch The Swamp Fox starring Patrick McGoohan by Disney. Which I believe is a Revolutionary War story.
Well, the Swamp Fox with
this is a real thing. They used to show it on Wonderful World of Disney when I was a kid.
The prisoner's Patrick McGoohan.
The prisoner's Patrick McGoohan. Unless I'm conflating four different things, which I could very well.
God, you just might be this sounds like a fever dream.
Oh no, I see a TARDIS. And.
Yeah, the doors are open nowadays, aren't they? I mean, it used to be a place of secrecy, but now everyone just comes on in.
Oh, it drives me. This is one of my pet peeves when they open the doors and just leave them open and walk away. I'm like, no, don't do it. Would you do that to your car? Don't do it to the most amazing thing in the universe.
Yeah. I feel really bad for ragging on this poor actor's accent now, but this seems to be a trend now, actually, in Doctor Who. Whenever they have sort of a major American character, they usually hire like a North American actor, like Justin Chatwin in the aforementioned Mysterio episode. He's from Canada.
This conversation is interesting between Mrs. Scarrett and Ryan because I thought it would have gone a completely different direction. But she's like, "Oh, it's cool. You said you're from Yorkshire," because I would have assumed something else. I was like, "Okay, I guess that's what's happening." Like, oh, we're just normal. We're just normal people surrounded by crazy scientists.
Yeah, nothing.
I am very wrong. It was not Patrick McGoohan. It was Leslie Nielsen of all people. Who was the Swamp Fox.
This gets even crazier. This gets even crazier. And this is like probably
it's a Disney miniseries from the early '60s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how would
Slim Pickens is in it? Good Lord.
How would you have thought that scene might have gone then, Amanda? With
probably some kind of like weird, like you don't belong here thing, but I guess not. It's all hunky dory. It's all hunky dory. There's no racism right now in this episode.
No, not at all. They solved it, or at least for a week in Brooklyn, New York, in 1903. Nobody mentioned it.
It's interesting.
Nope. Ta-da!
Ta-da! And now we are...
Oh, let's scan the stock footage there.
All that stock footage.
Yeah, I like how he immediately distrusts it. That's great.
All right, so spying on humankind for forever. And
You have a perfectly good scanner. What's going on here?
Yeah, I do like the monitor. That's I think is this the first? I know they rejig. Oh, we're stepping on the costume here. Anjali Mohindra's in her amazing scorpion costume.
yeah. Once again, aliens start in New York City.
That's a cool costume.
Of course.
Very, very.
Doctor Who does seem very fixated on New York in the well, I guess new isn't right, but the modern era.
Yeah.
And London, to be fair.
Yeah. I'm thinking of.
Well, yeah, but that's a little easier.
The Next Doctor, yeah. Which wasn't exactly the same time, but pre-internet days, let's say.
I mean, what's worse, that or being having every alien invasion happen in a small village, which is what mostly happened in Glasgow.
In the 1970s, yeah. But you have to eventually put the toys back in the box. That's the thing, and so. And yes, he did say he heard Message from Mars. I think they probably, veered away from a few of Tesla's, shall we say, eccentricities. In the telling
so
of the story
we just
too.
traveled like 2.5 hours in like a second. Because Wardenclyffe is like far deep into Suffolk, and I'm like, we just went from like downtown Manhattan to there in like 2 hours. Oh, in like a second? Okay.
In the TARDIS. That's what you can do in the TARDIS.
I guess so. Yeah, there was not even a charge shot here, so it's just weird. We're on Long Island.
Yeah.
They have.
Yeah,
There we go.
Yeah, you live in Long Island. I've been there like twice, and I remember the first time driving from the airport in Newark to Elihu, and it is an aptly named island. I'm thinking this trip is taking forever.
It takes forever, yes.
Even from like
The train alone.
yeah, even from Brooklyn out there, it's really long.
I've taken the train from Penn, and you're like, okay, first I got Penn Station, and now this train ride. Yeah. Well, thanks a lot, New York.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
I didn't actually know where Wardenclyffe is. It's a shame that it no longer exists. I'm mildly surprised that nobody has built like some sort of replica of Tesla's tower.
They were trying to. I just don't know what happened after Corona.
That recent.
Yeah, they were trying to fund a science museum out there. This local education group. I just don't know what happened to it with Corona.
Mm-hmm.
They're passing around flyers at the local science fiction conventions, but I'm not sure what happened.
Damn.
And
That'd be neat.
Mystica is back, creeping everybody out.
I would like to think the romantic side in me thinks that perhaps Anjali Mohindra and Sacha Dhawan met at table read of early Doctor Who episodes.
Both in costume. She was in full makeup.
Yeah, for a table read, yeah, that's exactly what would happen.
Yes, I'm sure that's how TV works.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Now, Matt, I have a question. When did the tiny collar era end? Because look at those things.
Tiny collar.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert in menswear. Yeah, menswear is kind of where I fall flat. Because a lot of times after 1900, I can't tell like what men. Because like it's definitely when it starts standardizing, where it's like it's like the same stuff like in different colors. That's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The tiny collar is definitely an Edwardian thing though. But yeah, I can't tell you when it stopped doing.
I guess when mass manufacturing happened, it was easier just to, hey, here's the style, take it.
Yeah, well, this era already has some mass manufacturing of items, also. Especially men's shirts would have been mass manufactured.
Mm-hmm.
Sewing machines at this point are fully functional, even in your house.
As everybody's grandma had a sewing machine from around this time.
Yep.
Yep. Mine did. The push one, like the pedal.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
My mom had one of those even.
It's fascinating how sewing machines, things get passed down.
There are much more random ones we have now. How dare you address me this way, mortal?
Like, I'm always impressed when TV shows have faith in their costume department to, like, that is a close-up shot of someone who is in heavy makeup, and you are responsible for, like, you cannot be seen to be in makeup, basically. Like, that is a very tricky thing for the makeup department to have so much pressure put on them.
Yeah. And that's also acting too. Like, I'm sure if somebody's not a good enough actor to act through that makeup, you're gonna be like, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah. But also, like, Anjali Mohindra's probably having to, like, completely, like, really accentuate her, her speaking to be seen behind the makeup. That's another thing too. You know, she's not speaking normally. No one would speak like that in real life.
Yep.
I don't know. I've been to a convention or two. That's like, some nerds do.
Yep.
That's true. Oof.
We try to kidnap an engineer because our stuff is broken. There we go. Oh, I just killed that guy for no reason.
That's probably Geordie LaForge stuck in there, and
Yeah, just his visor just drops.
yeah,
to the
they're trying to lure something into Geordie LaForge. He's the best engineer I know. Take that, Scotty Stands.
ground. How dare you, sir?
I'm a Geordie LaForge man.
Fellow Canadian James Doohan.
Doing
Whatever.
whatever.
My indignance only goes so far.
I like bowler hat guy looking creepy in the background for no reason.
I know that is some pretty strong casting because he's an interesting looking chap. Wonder if he gets lots of roles like this.
Word thinking Scorpion Green. It's a really ridiculous line right there.
I do like the breaking up of the team a little bit. We talked about this in the Spyfall commentary about how, you know, the rest of the fam are given like lots of stuff to do this year as opposed to last year when they sort of like tagged along a little bit, you know. And now we have Yaz and the Doctor being a pair, and sometimes Graham and Ryan go off and do things, and sometimes Graham and Yaz or Ryan and Yaz do things. And I think they finally sort of like gotten to grips about how to work with a 4-person TARDIS.
Yeah.
This I also love. I love that Edison has already been in the TARDIS, but his reaction to it is unimportant. It's all building up to this, to Tesla's first time in the TARDIS. And it's such a magical thing.
Yeah,
like it's
wonderful.
Like it's given the same weight as like a companion entering the TARDIS for the first time.
Well, if you think about it, this whole episode was pretty much designed to like rehab Tesla's PR in history because Edison practically
more or less. Yeah.
Edison practically destroyed it. So, yeah.
Much as I don't like Elon Musk, I'm pretty sure that naming his car the Tesla didn't hurt either for rehab.
That too.
Yeah, and
just because you see the name everywhere all the time.
And of course, the rock band Tesla too. For those, I don't.
Long since forgotten.
I don't think Tesla ever made quite the impact as perhaps the foremost high-end electric cars.
Is there a car or a rock band called the Edisons?
I don't think so. There was a Canadian TV show called the Edison Twins, though, in the 1980s. That's true. So, good luck.
Which nobody cares about.
Good luck overcoming that, Tesla.
And now the ultimatum: give us what we want, or you all will die.
Well, we never heard that one.
Never.
Before,
so. No, never. Never on Doctor Who.
See, he wears his bow tie over his collar. Interesting. Yes, I have no idea what that means. Also, those horns are really impractical.
Really, yeah.
Well,
like, unless you're like getting up real close and scraping somebody's forehead off, I don't see the point of it.
Maybe that's what they do. How do you know? I mean, a lot of celebrity historicals like this are very much kind of like, rehabilitation projects or like dream casting, like imagine if Tesla was in the TARDIS. Like we could sort of like, we can give him that moment knowing that Tesla, died penniless, was more or less unsuccessful until all of his ideas were adopted much later after his death. It's kind of like
so where does Van Gogh fall?
Exactly, Vincent Van Gogh.
Yeah, Van Gogh
as well.
It's the same sort of
same thing,
sort of vibe here. It's a little less depressing.
Yeah,
how Van Gogh is.
I mean, we don't dwell on Tesla's love affair with a pigeon. Which
okay, well, I'd ask, but maybe not.
Is also a weird thing, but I spoke of Red Dead Redemption 2, which is a great game, and there is a Tesla analog in that game. You meet someone sort of like Tesla, and he has way up in the northeast part of the map a laboratory where he's experimenting with electricity with very much a tower like we've just seen there. So
I've just started the game, so how far do I have to go before I meet Tesla Analog?
quite a ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got a lot of robbing and starving to do before I get to that far.
Yeah, it's weird how that takes place in 1899. This is 1903, and like how there are, there's New York and electricity and stuff, and then there's, out west and cowboys and gunfights and everything else that's happening in the west part of the country. What a fascinating.
Well, it's the tail end of that, though, really.
It is the tail end, but still, history is quite fascinating.
I'm shocked they didn't set this episode at the World's Fair in 1894, but
Yeah.
but I think Doctor Who likes New York a lot versus Chicago. Chicago been a little bit harder to replicate.
Mm-hmm.
So at the World's Fair, that'd be fairly expensive to
True, yeah,
even digitally recreate.
Yeah, it could have, but yeah, this might be a little easier.
New York is more sellable to the world.
That too.
Yeah, it's a little more of a sexy city than Chicago. No offense.
Also, because it's pre Al Capone era, so it's not as fun.
Yeah.
Not to say there wasn't organized crime in Chicago at that point, but it's less dramatic.
Yeah. Well, anytime you do like a time travel episode in Chicago, you're just going to be compared to that Star Trek episode, A Piece of the Action with Telly Savalas in it when they go back or sorry, they don't actually go to Chicago. They go to a planet that looks just like 1929 Chicago.
Yeah.
As one does. Mm-hmm. Telly Savalas was in that? I don't remember that.
I think he wasn't he? I might be thinking of someone else, but so
are you sure you're not thinking? Are you thinking of Leslie Nielsen?
Argument right here.
Yeah.
And of course they're like.
I mean, yes, he was a thief, but yes, he popularized things. There is, would we have had some, I suppose Edison was the marketer in a way too.
Well, this is Bill Gates. Bill Gates basically stole other people's programs and marketed them as his own.
Yep.
But he made it accessible. There is one thing to make.
Well, so did Mark Zuckerberg. And where are we now?
Yeah.
I like having computers, but I love a good wipe like that. That's pretty awesome. This is like a heist. This is a heist movie. I love it when they explain their plan over top of them putting their plan into action.
Yep.
I love that. I think I spotted some old TARDIS tools in there.
You might have.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just my imagination making things up. But
I love how the Yorkers are just like, oh, yeah, we're just totally going to clear off. Just like, what?
Empty streets? Sounds reasonable.
Yep.
Although right now, I guess that is the case.
If anything, we New Yorkers do what we're told.
Yeah, this is another part where I'm like, really now?
Yeah, I was going to say, so yeah, at the top of this, you were sort of saying, so there's some historical inaccuracies, which, it is a Doctor Who episode, to be fair, but have the glaring ones pass us by during the course of this commentary, Amanda?
Mostly sort of, I can't figure out quite what neighborhood they're trying to replicate. I'm not sure if it's a weird mashup of the Lower East Side with like Midtown area. I don't know. That's a little odd. Little bit more segregation in the street than I would expect, yeah. And nobody's really questioning Ryan and Yaz at all, so that's a little odd. But other than that, and then of course Wardenclyffe being like right there next to New York versus like 2 hours away. Yeah. That's kind of my big ones. But it's not as much as Daleks Manhattan. That was like the worst. One day I'll write a rag always about how like bad that episode is. Oh, cute kids. There's always cute kids in historicals.
Yeah.
Obligatory cute kid.
And people willing to murder them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yay, Edison. He did something. Yay.
Fired his...
Yeah, this street is way too empty for what should be 1903 downtown.
But they've all been successfully shooed away, though, you see. That's how it's happened.
Yeah.
So that nobody sees the giant space scorpion coming down the wall.
That is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I also like how, relatively inept they are. We'll see later on. They run into each other. They crash into things. They're not graceful. Nope. They're like being chased by kittens in a way, skid.
I love how dramatic Yaz's cycling skirt looks right now. It's
oh yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a skirt. No, it's it looks like
It's a skirt that kind of breaks away into pants. It's kind of a cool Edwardian feature.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's now it breaks away. Now I'm legitimately intrigued by this. So it's a skirt, but it's sort of like sewn into two giant pant legs. Is that how it works?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, like extreme. Think of them as extreme gauchos.
Yeah, because to bring up Red Dead Redemption yet again, one of the main female protagonists in the original version has a outfit very much like that. And I thought, oh, cool. She's basically has a skirt, but has been cut into two. And
they were popularized in this era because cycling was very popular. So you couldn't get standards.
That makes sense.
You can get standard skirts over your bike, so that's
and you can't side saddle a bike and still ride it down.
Yeah, you would fall off.
Side saddle a bike. That would be intriguing. Trying to pedal with 1 foot. Basically.
Well, it'd be dangerous. Would it be?
Yeah.
Although side saddling a horse seems pretty intriguing too. I mean, not intriguing, dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, there's ways to do it. But yeah, they also use these type of skirts in riding horses as well. But you just city dwellers are only bike riding.
So some good attention to detail from the costume designer in this.
Definitely, yeah, they definitely were looking at Edwardian fashion plates for sure.
Mm-hmm. It's also fascinating. I mean, we've been calling this Edwardian.
It's
America didn't have a Edward. It's interesting.
Yeah, what president was
it's
this?
interesting how British,
Teddy Roosevelt,
how UK centric eras are.
Call it the Gilded Age, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
I know what you mean, but it's just, we call something Victorian era or Edwardian era based on who was the monarch at the time in the UK. I mean, the Great British Empire.
But is that just us Canadians doing that because we are influenced by the Brits, or is it the Americans do that too?
We do that too in the costuming stuff. But also probably because in this era, because the communication between U.S. and Britain is so close right now, like the styles are pretty much 6 months later, you're going to see them in New York versus
and also they're just more British costume dramas than there always have been.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Gilded Age is actually going to be its own series on HBO Max post all.
Yes, one of the many HBOs. I have a hard time keeping track.
Yeah, and it's actually going to be written by Julian Fellows of Downton Abbey fame. So definitely looking forward to that. I'm sure there's going to be at least one Doctor Who person that pops up in there.
Oh, there has to be.
There has to be.
There's got to be at least one. It's
one connection, like somehow.
There are many. You don't need 6 degrees of separation to find a Doctor Who alumnus in any show these days. It's great.
Pretty much.
We haven't been watching this with music, obviously, because we can't hear it. But the little motif that Segan Akinola has for the Skithra Queen is dark and disturbing. It's a very creepy bit of music.
Yep.
That we never talk about because, as I said, we can't hear it. But
I like that she's not a spider.
No, she's a scorpion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, she's just like, she isn't as outrageous as what's her name from
Rachnos.
Christmas.
Yeah.
The Rachnos.
The Runaway Bride. Yeah.
And I can see why. You've got a giant spider costume. You better use it. But
yeah, she really leans into it. I do like. I mean, I really appreciate a practical costume more so than a CG one, because you can't get like a proper conversation between two characters when one of them is CG, unless you're Gollum.
No. One thing I can't figure out though is apparently in Avengers, the time travel outfits, which look like normal outfits, are actually CG. And I'm like, have you reached the point where you amortize this much computer hardware that it's actually easier than making a costume to just put stuff on people?
Yeah.
Like, that seems bizarre to me.
Yeah.
Well, they have the time to do it, too. TV does not have the time.
I guess.
Hence, you have Angela Mohindra in a costume.
Yeah.
But there's that connection, that's I like it.
It's like, oh no, you have no ideas left, but the Doctor is going to still find a way out of this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And yep, I gave you a chance to not screw up, but here you are. And what I like about this is that it gives 13 in the previous season was sort of dancing away from giving threats, and I'm like, Doctor needs to give people ultimatums. Like,
yes,
No more nice girl here.
Yeah. Showing some backbone. You're right. It was almost like she was like trying too hard to be like, middle of the road kind of thing. Like everyone play nice. And oftentimes the story sort of facilitated that. Like, oh no, we're not actually evil at all. We're just here to observe things. Or, you were just misguided and something like that. No, sometimes it's good to have like space scorpions who steal everything and claim them as their own.
Yeah. Also, I think we're kind of nervous about just like showing 13 as being either too powerful or too commanding. But yeah, now like you can tell in season 12, she's in her groove now. So
yeah,
we'll have real threats and real situations where she has to figure things out.
Mm-hmm. Stakes. It's important to have stakes.
High, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's Wardenclyffe in action, the challenge.
For the first and only time.
Oh no, we're dying. I'm melting.
But they just go away. Out of hell with this place.
Yeah.
That is cool that Tesla's the one that sort of pulled the trigger, so to speak. It's like Doctor Who. He's like Doctor Who in his TARDIS.
Oh.
Rather quaint, actually.
There we go. Time to clean up. Everybody get back.
Sweep up some hay.
This is
and the odd insect leg.
Seaport has ever looked. I mean, really.
Night of Tesla. Oh, there's a reference to the episode title. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah, more random shopkeepers in the background.
This does have the feeling of it like NPCs in a video game right now in the background, just sort of like
it totally does.
Randomly sweeping
just
hay
some
that
pointless
isn't there.
muttering.
Yeah.
Sweeping again, eh? Just in the background, 14 times over.
Yeah, random guy like the pail of milk or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The guy with the arrow to the knee in Skyrim.
Haven't played that game in a while. I think I might do that in October as it gets cold, because that feels very much a wintry game to me.
It is very much a wintry game.
Yeah, I need to buckle in for the second wave of the pandemic. So I figured maybe that's the time to dig into Skyrim again.
A much more cheerful time when they suffered from the plague as well.
Yeah,
a plague of dragons.
Mm-hmm.
All right, bye, Miss Carrot. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she just goes.
And poor Yaz realizes, oh no, nothing changes because we can't do that. And yeah, here's the sad part. We realize that this part of his life was probably his best memories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He probably told everyone about it for the rest of his life. Oh, there's this week where like I flew in a time machine and stuff and fought scorpions. No one believed him.
She's a much better professor than Capaldi was.
Yeah.
He's like, I want this artist now. Or it's like, I want this for myself.
Yeah. So let's
and there'd be obligatory doctor pep talk.
Yeah. Well, let's wipe your mind now so you forget everything you just saw.
Now, where's Edison? I got to wipe his mind too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does she have pockets? What's going on here?
Who, Yaz?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes has pockets. Those suit jackets definitely had pockets.
Oh, really? Like legitimately had pockets and we're just showing them.
Yep, they were not. Sometimes they're fashion, but they definitely could have pockets.
So when did they lose the plot on the whole women in pockets thing? Because trust me, well, you know better than I do. There's just a dearth of pockets.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's the shift after World War I is where they abandoned this whole suit jacket thing into 20s, and from there it just goes downhill. On the pocket.
Bring back pockets. Yeah. Come on, fashion industry. I've spoken.
Yeah. Well, that was fabulous. Oh, awesome. I enjoyed that story. I really like Goran Visnich in it as well, with a great closing line, which we talked over because we were talking about pockets, and why not?
And why not?
Very true.
I also like this episode was not only a woman writer, but a woman director, who was very rare combo in Doctor History, so that was great.
Super rare. I have to think hard about when I think there was one prior time, but I don't remember when that was. Oh, and here's next.
Watching this trailer, knowing what I know now is a little weird.
It is weird. I'm like,
just a random mid-season
just to do. Who cares? No big deal.
Nothing major happening. Just stick around if you can bear to. Maybe watch some Doctor Who next week if you want. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Amanda, where on the internet can people find your work, your writings, your cosplay stuff, etc.?
Cool. I haven't done a lot of cosplay lately. Just been really busy with my actual writing. At Amanda R. Prescott is where you can find my Twitter account, where in between Doctor Who stuff, I talk a lot about period drama. I also write occasionally for Den of Geek US, which is cool. So far, mostly Outlander. I haven't done anything for Doctor Who with them yet. Hopefully I will. I also have I have a blog post up on Black Tortoise right now about how we did the Doctor Who Blackout a couple months ago. So I had the historical connection with Black British history and Doctor Who without Spawn. It's weird. I'm mostly guest on podcasts about Doctor Who. I don't really write as much or blog as much as other people do about Doctor Who, but I'm always there to connect the history and period drama with Doctor Who, because that's my brand essentially. Connecting the past of our present in culture.
Damn right. There's your tagline right there.
That's my tagline.
If you ever need one, if you ever start a podcast of your own, that's what it's going to be called.
I did actually have one. It's just it died.
Yeah, but podcasts are hard to maintain. You've done it right. You get invited on podcasts, and you don't have to start them, and that is the best way to do it. Yeah. Next week, as you saw, Fugitive of the Jadoon, as I said, just a middle-of-the-road, mid-season Jadoon throwaway episode. Nothing of any consequence happens in that episode whatsoever, but join us for it, I guess. It should be a fun time commentating over that. Until then, I am Steven in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
Chris in Edmonton.
Amanda in New York.
So long for now.
You've been listening to Radio Free Skaro. Find us online at radiofreeskaro.com. Follow us on Twitter and Tumblr at Radio Free Skaro. Subscribe to us on iTunes and donate to the show at patreon.com/Radio Free Skaro. Thank you.